Alrighty, my friend. So in this video, we're going to cover how to go out there and write copy. So write the text that's going to be going on your pages. So again, we have different pages. These are kind of the similar ones, similar pages. But I use this one as an example really quick because they're running it right now and I know they're doing, 30, 40, $50,000 days. And this is our page that we used. The results were phenomenal. This is a 7-figure page as well, but I know they're currently running this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down for you and templatize it so you can go ahead and use it as well. So first things first, you can download this template down below. It's part of the resources files. So let's talk about the headline right here. My friend told me her secret and it changed my life. So what this does, the headline sets up the transition. Now the transition only happens around here, right here. My old school friend Beth forwarded me this video. As you can tell, it happens all the way down here. But again, you don't necessarily need to have the transition as the headline or the focal point of the headline becoming something where my friend told me X, Y, and Z. You could do something like shocking discovery, simple morning ritual saved my life, something like that, right? So what you want to do is you want to make it catchy, okay? Catchy, that it grabs somebody's attention. It doesn't give any type of claims like, oh my goodness, I lost 30 pounds. No, you don't want any claims, but you want it to relate back to what's going to be talked about in this little article. So shocking discovery, simple morning ritual saved my life. What is this simple morning ritual? Well, the simple morning ritual is pretty much described, well, not really described, but it's alluded to inside of this article. So my friend told me her secret. What's the secret? Well, it's alluded inside of this article. The secret is to watch the video, which is an affiliate offer. So the images that you can use, by the way, on any of your pages, you can grab off Shutterstock. Now you might have to pay for them, but they are really good images. So they might be like $10 an image, but they're really, really, really good images. Now let's talk about the body, okay? So the body is all the text that happens over here. So this is also the body. So this is like a little sub-headline after your main headline. So this right here is a sub-headline, right? So step number 1 is to draw attention with a sub-headline. Now this part is important because this determines if they continue reading or not. Your very first headline should have some sort of shock effect. Now, I'm not a fan of this particular headline right over here. And I believe it could have been done better, but because we use Facebook ads, it's kind of hard to accomplish being a little pushy and edgy with your sub-headlines and headlines. So let's get a little witty with this particular sub-headline. Here's a story of when I finally knew I needed help. Rather, my version, personally, I would write the shocking truth I had to come to terms with before it ruined my life. It's something similar here, but it gives a little bit more emphasis. The shocking truth I had to come to terms with before it ruined my life. The verbiage here, I'm really just gonna pinpoint the verbiage more than anything. The verbiage itself really gives emphasis to the sentence and makes somebody wants to keep reading. So right here, here's the story of when I finally knew I needed help. Well, this is really good to basically cause curiosity. But the shocking truth I had to come to terms with before it ruined my life, what is that as well? It's also curiosity, but what is the shocking truth? So it has nothing with claims, and mine is simply more dramatic. Now, more dramatic doesn't mean that you're going to get banned, but if I said the shocking truth I had to come to terms with before I died because I couldn't lose weight, right? So something that dramatic is going to get you suspended with Facebook. So nothing with claims, and simple and simply is way more dramatic. So my example, get it? All right, good. So right over here, that's what I was referring to. So this part right here. Now let's dive in a little deeper, okay? Step 2, the beginning of the body. So this is the body, right? This is the body. So this is also the body right here. So the beginning of the body, you want to craft a story of your avatar's biggest fear. Now, I didn't add this in, but I should be adding this in now, and I'll do it live right now. Know your avatar, okay? Know your avatar. This is going to be so important. Know who you're targeting. So when it comes down to health offers and these weight loss offers, I'm targeting women older than age 35 plus, typically in their mid 40s, all the way, to 50, 60, etc. You get the idea. You have to know your avatar with what offer you're promoting. This is crucial. And I'm going to provide a sheet called Know Your Avatar, and that'll be in the resources of this particular video as well. It's going to literally be called Know Your Avatar. It's a little worksheet that you can print out, write on it, and just go through each question. And at the end of the questions, you'll have an exact avatar of who you're trying to talk to inside of your body, your body copy. So who you're trying to talk to in here. So you want to shock the reader as if to think, my goodness, this could have been me, right? Or have them picture themselves in that frightful situation. Here's the thing about this word that I really want to emphasize. I said frightful situation. It's a sad fact, but most individuals, most humans, will never take action until it's life-threatening, right? So let's take a smoker for an example. Somebody who's a smoker won't stop smoking until a lung collapses or until they get cancer. Then they realize, oh my goodness, what have I done? And then they stop smoking when it's too late. It's a frightful experience, right? So somebody who goes skydiving, if their parachute doesn't open until the last second when they think that it's all over for them, they're probably not going to go skydiving again anytime soon. It's a frightful situation which causes them to back off, which causes them to stop. It's life-altering situations that are caused by frightening situations. So if something is frightening, very, very frightening, something changes. Like when people get extremely ill is when they start to change their diet and their habits, right? Because it's a frightful situation. And that's human psychology. We'll get to that in a second. But fear is I would say the biggest driving motivator. Fear and greed is the biggest driving motivators, but I would put fear over greed for people taking action. And when I say taking action, I mean taking immense action. So let's go back to health. If somebody is in a situation where they're extremely ill, they're willing to give up everything, pay as much money as they can in order to become better, because they're scared of losing their life, or they're scared of losing whatever it is that they have, to lose. So fear is the biggest emotion you could play off of. Is it wrong to play off of the fear emotion? No, if you do it ethically. And I'll explain that once we get to the bottom here, where I really want to emphasize this. You want to use everything here with caution, because doing this comes with a lot of responsibility. What I'm teaching you here is very, I hate to use the word, but it's very manipulative if used incorrectly. You need to use it for good, because this can make anyone do anything that you want them to do. And that's what persuasive copy is about. So you have to be careful when you're writing copy. So please, please, please don't be unethical about this. Okay? Please, whatever you do, I'm begging you, please do not take it overboard. Please don't tell people that they're going to be dying if they don't buy this miraculous pill after watching a 10-minute video. Please don't do that. I see really scummy affiliates do that. They make a lot of money, but it's so unethical. It's hard to sleep at night. Please don't be one of them. So most of the audiences that purchase ClickBank health-related products and Digistore-related products, or really any nutraceutical product out there that promises some sort of massive result by just taking a pill or just mixing it with a drink, they're typically targeted. Those products are typically targeted towards middle-aged women who are scared of negative health effects and something happening to them and leaving their family and kids behind. This right here, okay? So I'm just gonna put typically Nutra products, okay? Health-related, and I'm gonna just put that right here. ClickBank health-related products, typically Nutra products, are targeted towards middle-aged women who are scared. So I want to highlight this, all right, because I know a lot of people will be in the health space here. So again, these products are targeted towards middle-aged women who are scared of negative health effects. You're playing off of an emotion that they're scared off of. You have to do this ethically. You really have to do this ethically. And they're scared. Why? Because something can happen to them. And like, so what? So what if something happens to them? It's the fear of something happening to them, but it gets deeper. It's the fear of leaving something behind. It's the fear of leaving their kids behind, their spouse behind, their parents behind. It's scared that people will talk in bad in a negative light about them, whatever it is. But they're more scared about leaving this earth and leaving people that rely on them behind. I know that firsthand because I've done the avatar research and we've made millions of dollars selling products in the health space. And out of all of the emails, out of everything we've seen, out of all the feedback we've gotten, I could tell you this firsthand is what they're scared of. All right? And most of the time, you have to play off of psychological emotions. Now, here are 9 that I've written down that I always reference, and I grabbed them from Brasco Marketing. And ever since, I grabbed them from Brasco Marketing. I've known a lot of them, but Brasco Marketing has them listed down, and I just picked them off of the website because they were the ones that I typically use. So for the ones that I typically use, and I'll be very frank with you, right here. So these 4 are the ones, and I'll highlight them for you, that I typically use. And as a matter of fact, greed. So greed is one of the biggest ones that I use. So I don't know why there's a little space right here. But regardless, greed. Okay? So fear, I just described fear to you. Time. Everybody wants more time. What you have to understand is it's hard to convey to somebody that time is important. They know time is important, but it's not necessarily that time is important. It's what they do with their time. Spending more time with your grandkids, spending more time with your kids, spending more time with your spouse, your significant other, right? But so what, right? Spending more time with your grandkids before they grow older. Spending more time with your spouse before, literally, I don't really want to say it, but before they, pass, or whatever it is. So time. Everybody wants more time. They just don't recognize that they want more time. So if you're going to be pressing the time button, if you're actually going to play off of the psychological emotion of time, you need to tell them why time is important. You want more time to play with your grandkids before they grow up. You want more time to focus on your hobby so you can do what you love. You want more time to spend with your significant other before life gets in the way, or life might get in the way. You want more time to enjoy because your childhood went too fast. Literally whatever it is. Belonging. This one's great. Now, belonging and fear go hand in hand, just so you know. So people have a fear of not belonging. And one of the greatest examples I can give to you is when I see a lot of bridge pages, a lot of long form copy, and a lot of times affiliates play off of belonging, fear, and guilt. And the reason they play off of belonging and how they do it is they essentially say along the lines of I can't walk outside because everybody looks at me in disgust. Or my friends used to always call me and want to hang out, but because I gained this weight, they stopped calling less. And somebody feels like they're not accepted. They don't belong anymore. And everybody wants that sense of belonging. So when you're writing copy, this one and fear are hand in hand. Be careful using this. Because I've written my fair share of borderline, kind of not, I'm not proud of it. I've written some borderline questionable emails where I used to hit really hard on belonging because a lot of people, this emotion is huge. Everybody wants to feel a part of something, and stuff I'd used to say, and I don't do this anymore. I want to make it very clear. I want to make it very, very clear. I've had my dark days in affiliate, and now I'm extremely white hat, which means I'm extremely ethical with how I word my stuff. But I see a lot of times, and also what I used to say with belonging was stuff like I would go outside and feel ashamed because I know I tacked on 10 pounds, and the child across the street would point and say to their mom, "Oh my goodness, that fat lady," except you get the idea, right? And again, you can look at me on a different light now after I told you that, but again, I didn't really know any better back then when I was writing this, and I just morally have grown as a person, and I hope as well that you take that lesson from me and don't use it for bad. Belonging can also be used in a positive effect, in a positive light. What I mean by that is you can go ahead and angle it saying something like this is how I use it in a positive effect. So right here. I enjoy new trails by my new home, and I can even go speaking on behalf of my local weight loss club. So belonging to a club. So making them feel like they're a part of something. And I use that in a very positive connotation. And that's what I recommend you do as well. Putting the belonging emotion and, making somebody feel welcomed and warm rather than rejected and neglected. Making them feel accepted and embraced is more powerful than making them feel rejected. Rejected is going to come with a negative emotion, which actually, believe it or not, increases your refunds. The more negativity you have inside of your actual body and your little bridge page is gonna have more refunds. Guilt. Let's talk about guilt here real quick. So when it comes to guilt, this one's very straightforward. I felt bad about myself, or, I felt bad for my husband. I felt bad for my kids because they were getting made fun of because of my weight, or I felt bad because I wasn't making enough money like my spouse was and they were providing for me all the time. I felt bad. Guilt. It's just guilt. You already know what guilt is. I don't really need to explain guilt. Guilt's very powerful used correctly. Because if you can tap into somebody's emotion of what they're thinking about themselves at that certain time, you'll be able to make the sale immediately. All right. So again, guilt is powerful, very powerful. And greed. Greed is also a pretty powerful one. It works really well for the make money online space for the affiliates. I made a lot of money with the make money online space. And it's because of greed, because everybody wants more money. But here's the thing is that people don't want more money. You think you want more money. You bought this course. Excuse me, this isn't a course. This is a program. This is much bigger than a course. You bought this program, Super Affiliate Guild, not because you wanted more money, but it's because you want what more money can get you. You want your mortgage paid off. You want a bigger house. You want a sports car. You want to travel around the world. You want that fancy vacation. You want that first class trip to the Maldives. That's what you want. You don't want the money. Well, what's going to happen, right? You're going to die and you're going to bring that money to the grave with you? No, we both know that. You don't want money. You want what the money can do for you. And that's greed. And playing off of somebody's greedy emotion is so powerful. So powerful. And again, if you watch the webinar that was used to go ahead and convince you to enroll into Super Affiliate Guild, you'll see that I played off of greed in a positive way. I could play off of greed in a very negative way, but I play off of it in a positive way. Because, like I said, we all want more money, period. But we don't. We want more money because of the things it can get us. We want the things that money can achieve, right? We want, again, this comes back to time. This comes back to fear of not having enough, like a roof over your head. Greed is predicated on all of these, right? Belonging, you want to feel like you're belonged to a upper class, or maybe you want to just feel like you belong to the middle class and you don't want to be in the lower, whatever it is. Greed, I'm going to underline and italicize this. Greed stems a lot of emotions. Fear is great for health. Time is great for health and greed. Belonging and guilt is great for fear. Guilt and greed together are great. Greed and time, great, right? And then you have trust, value, instant gratification, leadership, and competition. You could do some more research on these, but the ones I want you to focus on are fear, time, belonging, guilt, and greed. So these are the 10 that I found 9 on Brasco Marketing, and I added in greed over here. So I always try to hit 3 to 4 of these when I craft a story around my avatar, no matter the niche that I'm going after, right? So again, if you go through this, you can just tell, you could read the image right over here. I can't remember how I got here. I remember telling the doctor when I woke up, again, fear. So let's just see here. Let's just see. This is very fear-driven, very fear-driven, right? So let's just see. I'm just reading this as I go through. Okay, so I was in a hospital bed with my frightened husband next to me, and my doctor calmly told me how lucky I am to be alive. This right here is guilt and time. It's more guilt than anything. The doctor's guilt tripping her into how lucky she is to be alive, right? So again, already we have fear and guilt. So let's go to step 3. Continue pushing the buttons until you get to a soft and abrupt transition. So let me go right over here. And you can see right then I promised that I would never do that to my children and my husband. I was going to change my life and be healthy and good for them. Look at that. That is like the emotional trigger, the transition that makes everything here flow. Right then, I promised that I would never do that to my children and my husband. We're talking guilt over here. We're talking guilt, right? Guilt is huge. I was going to change my life and be healthy and good for them. Fear. How is that fear? Because changing your life based off of everything that just happened up here. This is all fear-driven. And then they decided that they're going to change their life. Remember I said everybody makes drastic changes based off of something tragic that happens. So if we just scroll back down, we can see the transition. So the transition, it goes from a problem to finding the solution that they've been looking for. Sometimes this is from a friend, or sometimes this is just eavesdropping on a conversation. However you find the solution in the story, which is your affiliate product, needs to be something witty and something believable. So in red down here, I'll show you in a second, is a subheadline that transitions to another problem. In this case, typically you can do one of two things. You can press on the current problem, or you can start the transition into the solution that you found. So a nasty surprise awaited me. So let's just go. A nasty surprise awaited me. This is the transition that's starting into another problem. So in the blue is the beginning of the transition. So we have the headline that starts the transition, and then over here is the transition happening. So notice how the doctor doesn't give her the answers or results she wants, so she goes and magically finds the answer in the video she wants to share with us. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. This is, in my opinion, a very bad transition and could have been done way better, but it gets the job done. As a matter of fact, I did go a little bit deeper. I saw the transition. It was actually a little okay. So it could have gone from the doctor saying something, and before I tell you what it could have gone from, let me show you what it is. So I was a machine for those 2 weeks, yada yada. Long story short, she goes back to the doctor. The doctor says you've gained 2 pounds. She's angry. She says she's been doing everything right. He shrugged, barely looking at the charts in his hand. Sometimes that's just what happens when women your age want to start to cut down. So women of my age, again, we're angry over here, diets and exercise, frustration, all right? A lot of emotions that are happening here. I personally would have gone from the doctor saying something along the lines of, it's going to take time and sometimes it's not easy for women your age. And then when she leaves the doctor's office, she heard a woman outside. She just so happened to hear a woman outside in the lobby talking about the secret program. And the secret program could have been called like Secret Program X, or in our case, it could be called the Simple Morning Ritual, right? So let's just replace Secret Program with Simple Morning Ritual. So she walked outside in the lobby and heard a woman talking about this secret morning ritual, and it piqued her curiosity. When she got home, she went right to her computer to look up the secret program, and the rest was history. She watched a short video, and it taught her how she could get rid of that fat and stay healthy at the same time without having to do grueling exercises. You get the idea here, right? So what I want to show you is what happens with the transition over here. So we get this frustration, this anger, this feeling of resentment, right? And then here it is. Fortunately, I found all the answers I was looking for in the video I'm about to share in this post. So let's dissect this, okay? Here it is. I found the solution. I found the solution because of X, Y, and Z friend. That's the angle that they took. So this transition was, leaving the doctor's office and talking to her friend Beth. Beth has all the answers and shared a video with her that changed her life. Then you get descriptive on how that video changed her life. All right? So list out the benefits and, more importantly, what those benefits allowed her to do. Example, I was able to take a hike again. Right? That's great. But how does that affect anybody? What does that change? Well, how about this? How about let me put this in quotes so you get it a little bit better. So I was able to go on a hike again. That's great, but so what? That's what I'm going to say. So what? Well, I was able to go hiking with my grandkids, spending incredible time with them that I never could have before. You see how that's different? You see how this completely amplifies I was able to go hiking again. The solution. But the video allowed her to do all these things. Now you see the power and difference between those two statements, right? If you can turn pain points into benefits that are driven heavily on emotions, you will make sales even before they click. They will click and buy immediately. However, use this with caution. Doing this comes with a lot of responsibility. Use it for good, because this can make anyone do anything you want them to do. Just keep that in mind.